What's up, everybody? It's post league Michael here. I already know the results of what's about to happen, but you don't, and I forgot to make an intro. So here you go. We're playing through a league with Esper Quantum Riddler. We've been going back and forth on this FrogTide Riddler argument for the last month or so, and just trying to do our due diligence before RC Houston of testing out all possible options. At the moment, we're going with a Riddler list with no copies of Preordain. Kind of the idea being that we don't really need card selection if we're able to just draw a ton of cards in general using Psychic Frog's discard with Quantum Riddler's ETB static, ETB ability and static. We've got Teferi Time Reveler in the main. We've got Tameo Bowmaster Kaito as a little bit of our threat suit. All of our normal interaction with Force Negation, Counterspell, Subtleties, Shieldred's Edict, Shoot the Sheriff, Fatal Push, Thoughtseize, Spellstare, blah, blah, blah. You already know that part. In the sideboard, we've got our 3 copies of Pest Control off the White Splash. We've got a Strategic Betrayal, second Kaito, 4 Consigned to Memory, 2 Stern Scolding, 2 Mystical Dispute, and 2 Harbinger of the Seas. So let's go ahead and jump back into the league so you can see exactly how it went. Just want the threat aggressively. That's such disrespect. Like MTG bot saying last seen 22 days ago, generic Ragavan. It's like just prowess with Ragavan. This is prowess. Call it prowess. Got Quarry Steel Cutters and Chandlers, Swift Spear, show off. Just call it prowess. What did they cut for Ragavan though? On urges and stuff. Okay. First off, first match of the league, game 1. And I had already made the statement that I don't see lands often enough, especially my openers. So keeping a hand with 1 land with no Preordain in this list. We'll see if they're going to try to flip Tameo here. No second land. Go to game 2. This Tameo is going to pull things ahead pretty quickly. But that's like almost the exact situation that I keep wanting Preordain for. Because that hand, if I see the second land, is like really, really good. But as soon as I miss the second land, my God, does it fall off? I'm really hesitant about like leaving my hands so up to fate. Like this, it's just 1 land central. Not keeping this one. Better. Need 2 in my opener.
Take a Tameo. Fade out like a Bowmaster here. Mid range is an uphill battle. It's not so bad if you can like do a good job of being proactive. The problem is in the current modern environment, being really proactive is a lot of the times like overshadowed by the fact that when you're not proactive or you're not reactive enough, you just die on like turn 2. You've got all these neo brands and affinities and storms and whatnot. Kaito of their own. I would not advise playing Kaito of your own right here. Because if you play Kaito, I just tick up my Kaito and kill your Kaito, and it's not a fun place to be. Cast Riddler. Bait like a counter spell. Basically telling me I have to win a die roll. I'm not saying you have to, but it helps. Otawara back my Quantum Riddler. Deal with that. I'll take a backup Kaito. Like draw into the subtlety instead, but like, so in the FrogTide mirrors, I used to be a huge proponent of taking the draw games 2 and 3 because like nothing happened on turn 1 that anybody cared about. Every now and then somebody would run Tameo, but it wasn't that popular. So the first thing that mattered was Psychic Frog on turn 2. Well, there's like a million ways to answer a Psychic Frog on turn 2 on the draw. You've got Mystical Dispute, Stern Scolding, Fatal Push, Thought Seize on turn 1, whatever. So like Psychic Frog on turn 2 doesn't matter. And so you can just be on the draw, answer the turn 2 frog, and then all it is like who finds answers for the opposing Murktide. But now that Kaito is like standard, it has screwed up the mirror so much because if you're on the draw and your opponent passes through and then goes for a turn 2 Bowmaster, you have to respect that, or they can ninjutsu an uncounterable Kaito, and you just have like no way of fighting that. So it went from take the draw all the time for card advantage to you need to be on the play to Bowmaster into Kaito before your opponent can do anything about it. We're here like Thoughtseize into frogs. Pretty good. Keep a hand with no answer to turn 2 frog on the draw. Well, I'm not built to play on the draw and beat turn 2 frog. Like, my deck is built to be on the play now. I'm giving up being on the draw to play things like Quantum Riddler. You don't want to be on the draw with a Quantum Riddler. Terrible. All right. So does opponent have a Murktide? Fight over a frog. Push. Pretty good. I do hate that I have to play out the land here to fight over the frog. I would rather not play out the land this turn, or play out the Meticulous Archive instead, so I can hardcast Riddler next turn, but it is what it is. Stop it. Tap land. Not bad though. What's the best sequence here? I could Frog, Warp Riddler, draw 2. I could land Warp Riddler, draw 2, try to find an answer to their frog. Yeah, I think finding an answer to their frog's a little bit better. Also, just keep that. Play frog, pass. No, I wouldn't have this in hand. Never mind. Get out of I am going to put that right back on top. You can hit me. I'll take it. If you find an answer to frog, I probably just get to hard cast a Riddler. Spell. Yep. Okay, let's try Warping Riddler. Other counterspell. Surely you can't tell me these preordains didn't matter during this game. I feel like they had to have been pretty good. They should have done damage first and then ninjutsu'd. Down a card. Now you have to decide between stunning something and letting the Kaito die, or like zeroing the Kaito, letting it die. Put the frog on top. Pretty sure you just stunned my frog here. Like, I've got the board presence. You don't want to be farther behind. What do I know? Frog. Fatal push. Fatal push, please. Fatal push, wherefore art thou? Am I attacking with both? Tia coming in with the raid. Thank you so much. Welcome, everybody. You're currently in a little bit of a frog mirror. Yeah, an awesome stream. Thought seizing. Keep the island in case I hit a Riddler off the top. Pretty good. Play the land, play around. Mystical Dispute hardcast on their side. But welcome everybody from the raid. If it's your first time here, my name is Michael, control freak on Magic Online. Play a lot of modern, especially a lot of frog decks. I know he kicked my ass yesterday on a blue-white blink. Petty theft. Boy. That's a card I have not seen in a hot minute. Oh, petty theft. Don't think there's any reason not to trade off there. Like, that thing's just gonna stonewall forever. My big mouth. Yep. Love to see a mirror of Tempo Frog. I agree. I agree, even if it's a little underpowered at the moment. This is what good, clean Magic is supposed to look like, and anybody that says otherwise is just wrong. All right, what you got? Nice. Sag is an understatement. Like, I've been mulling around with ideas for the Houston RC in a couple weeks, just like if there's anything that beats up on Gorio's, and the Blink deck's looking really strong. How many Kaitos can I jam in the main deck? Preordained didn't matter at the end. Well, those Quantum Riddlers didn't matter too much either. Quantum Riddlers ate a fat counter spell like any other threat would have. Just your choice for the RC? Yeah, I'm going to force some sort of Psychic Frog deck. I don't know if it'll be this exact 75, probably pretty unlikely, but some sort of frog tempo style deck I'll be jamming regardless. Like, my entire brand of Magic, even if it fails horrendously, is I want to win with the cards I want to play. And I'm just not going to like jam something like Affinity that I don't want to play just for the sake of winning. So, be out there playing frogs till they drag my frogs from my cold dead hands. But we've got a couple weeks to get together a list that I think can be reasonably competitive. Yep. More than one land. The battle cry of a stream. Yay, more than one land. Sure. You can hit my Tameo. I think I want to save this force negation for like a Teferi. of like the blue-based Blink deck with Frogs, Felia, Riddler. Yeah, I mean, that deck is really, really good. And I'm sure it'll have a reasonable showing at the RC. It's just not a list that like I particularly enjoy playing. So that kind of keeps me from registering it. Like, it's good. I've had good games with it. Are we just up against like a 4-color Omnath deck? Got a Rin. There's no way that our opponent is playing like Supreme Verdict, right? Surely they're on Wrath the Skies, right? I think they might. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. I'm gonna get scared and they're just gonna hard cast a Wrath the Skies here. Or an Omnath. Put an Omnath on the stack. I'll players be out here getting away with things. Yeah, chilling's fine. Like, we might have just throw some stuff into a frog because I don't think they have a Solitude because they wouldn't let me just keep. Oh, hell yeah. Never mind. Game's over. Magic's easy. Talking about. To my good friend Kaito, Bane of Nightmares. Go Master. Love to Thoughtseize. All right. For that Verdict. Actually have Omnath. I'm still just like shocked that somebody's playing Cheeto Fingers in 2025. Flage is fine. Going after Kaito. Okay. I think we're still relatively good here. Part of me wants to go after Ren. I think depending on what they do, can we piece together lethal? Discard 4, Frogs of 5. Or no, we got discard 5, 6, Frogs of 7, Riddler, draw 2, discard 2. Can now. Bolton, sink into stupor. Discard. Frog, force, bowmaster. Frogs at 4. Quantum Riddler, draw 2. I think Solitude's a pretty safe bet. But I need to get the game over with. Also, if they have Solitude and they like keep letting me hit them, cast the Thoughtseize here. Because right now I've got Counterspell for Solitude, Sink into Stupor for Supreme Verdict. I just pass back. Like Thoughtseize next turn to check. Like Sink, Verdict, Counterspell, Flage. Verdict. Bad Lantern is completely fine. Okay. We've got lethal by a long shot. Let's start by seeing what they're up to. Did have the Solitude. No, let me see your hand. Show me your secrets. Opponent cheating. Opponent cheating by not letting me see their hand. What do you think this is, Commander? Just scoop at any time with no repercussions. Got to be on Teferi in some count. Stern Scolding only good against Solitude. Endurance is 3 power. Omnath is 4. Fury is banned. Solitude. Could be on Delighted Halfling. Sound worth it. Make Thoughtseize with Split Second. They probably would, and they just make it cost like 17 mana. They see anything that, or I saw Ren that spell snare hits, but that's kind of whatever. Fling's probably okay. Stops. Well, stops like 1 activation from Ren. It's over Flage. Deal with this. Just kind of like really surprised last game that they would let me get so many attacks in with the frog if they had the solitude the entire time. Double pending March Flage. I think Esper Blink is the light for future frog decks that aren't Gorios. Maybe, but again, I'm just not a fan of playing the Blink deck. So I kind of choose not to. They were sure to kill with Supreme Verdict. You mean like you think Solitude White or Solitude Verdict or okay, so like if the argument is that they thought they would just kill the frog with Supreme Verdict, then why not, as soon as I bounce back the verdict, just Solitude the frog right there, use the verdict? Like, the verdict's not doing you any good if the frog is still out on the battlefield, right? There's like no reason to hold on to that frog for, or that verdict for dear life if the frog's hitting you down and drawing extra cards. Thought the second one resolved, but like the second one didn't resolve. We sank the second one, right? And they just still didn't cast the Solitude. They still passed to my turn and waited for the Thought Seize. So I don't know. It just seems like at some point in there, you'd be like, oh, this plan is not working. Let me change it up. Bolt the star charts. I feel like Tameo doesn't look great into pending Flage March. Tell me we're not We doing this again? Like, they've got Flage in hand. They've got Flage in hand. Are they just gonna like choose not to cast the Flage because it's a Bowmaster? Gonna feel really bad if I top deck a Kaito. Come on, game. Come on, game. It would have felt really bad if I top decked a Kaito. Solitude. That. Get that away. I don't want to subtlety it and put it back on top of their library. Flage, you know you want to. Okay. Good. So now I have to like preemptively strategic betrayal because if they get, oh no, they've got, wait, yeah, they can still just play out Flage and escape it immediately, but I guess I got subtlety if they do. Maybe that Windswept Heath was one of the cards they got off star charts. I think Spell Pierce is a card that can be good in this meta. I don't really think so. But like, what would you want Spell Pierce against? Like, give me some matchups. So you're like, I need Spell Pierce to fight this. I think I'm gonna take the ending. Flage. Like, my thought process against Spell Pierce is you've got cards like Force of Negation that do the same job, but for free when you want to tap out. And then late game, you can just hard cast them. Where, like Spell Pierce, you have to pay the mana early. And then late game, your opponent just pays 2 and ignores it. God, are they just on like 4 Mystical Dispute? I gotta play this out because I need them to use this Prismatic Ending so I can get Kaito down. That was always the Pierce problem. Yeah, but like now we have Force of Negation that is just exponentially better. So if you're not even like maxed out on Force of Negation, why do you want to run some number of Spell Pierce? Oh. Stop drawing counter spells. It's good against Belcher and Titan, or against Goryo's, fine against Blank. But I still don't get why you would have the option to do the same thing but better, because you can get rid of the late game they pay 2 for Spell Pierce problem. You can just like negate that entirely from the situations that can come up by playing Force of Negation. And like the downside is you got to pitch a card, but in Modern, either the games are like decided one way or the other way before that matters, or you can get to 3 mana and just not pitch a card if you want to. But like Force also allows you to enable your game plan by playing out your threats like on curve without having to wait. But it's more just the idea of like, I'm assuming you're not running for Force of Negation, right? So I just don't get playing any number of Spell Pierce before at least maxing out on Force. Then maybe opening up the discussion after that. Take a Ren and 6. Let's just go ahead and go for this Riddler. Don't serve the same job because Force Negation protects Frog when they tap out on turn 2. They play very good on the play against Goryo's. So, like, are you wanting... It sounds to me like you're really wanting Spell Pierce, like, explicitly for Goryo's. Is that right or wrong or at all accurate. I'm just gonna fight over this because if I hit my third or my fifth land, I just get to hard cast Quantum Riddler. That would be pretty sweet. That. Goria's player, I don't feel like Spell Pierce is all that good to me. That would pretty much be my thought as well, is like I just don't see it being being too impactful of a play there. Obviously, fine being wrong on that point, but all right, well, we're gonna do that. Am I doing that right now? Maybe I'm just casting a. I think I'm just casting this. Don't have counterspell up. Maybe you have a solitude, but why do I say things? Perhaps it was better to just jam the Riddler. Riddler at 115 ticks. What else is broken 100 in recent years? Wondering definitely did. Allosaurus Shepherd was 100. Ragavan. I don't know. Did Ragavan ever hit 100? Can't remember on that one. Else. Fun one. Flip us a tomato. Carry on. Fable 100 ticks. Omnath. Hey. Ooh. Let's check real quick. Shieldred the Apocalypse. So many Shieldreds. Shieldred the Apocalypse. This is still $75 in paper. Shieldred spiked around 80. Spiked at 72. Ragavan got up to 110. That looks a lot higher than 110. Maybe I'm no expert on reading a graph. 143. 143 ticks for Ragavan. Allosaurus Shepherd. First one. Got up over 100. 105-ish at its peak. Where'd Tamio hit? I feel like Tamio had a brief big spike. $75. I don't remember Saga getting that high. I remember Saga getting up to like 50. Oh, wait. Hold up. Saga 92.4. The highest it ever reached. Almost. That's crazy. 92 for Urza's Saga. Riddlers are not even good enough to justify 130 ticks. So, well, you run into the issue of like being the very best card in a fairly underpowered set means people are really trying to pick them up. Not a lot of people are drafting because the set's fairly weak overall. We're still in the redemption window, and a bunch of people need them at the moment. But so it's kind of like a perfect storm of driving up the price. I'm curious about Mox Opal now. I feel like as soon as Mox Opal was unbanned, there was like a brief period it was up there. Yeah, Mox Opal hit over 100 when it was unbanned. 104. And 100-ish way back in standard. Not standard, but I guess this would have been like Affinity taking off in modern. Get this. Look at this one lander. This absolute horrendous lander. Overgrown Tomb tell me? Tapped Overgrown Tomb into what? Scale. Does BroodScale run Kozilek's command? They do, right? They 100% do. Do they run full and whatnot? Is this BroodScale? Uncertain now. All right, I'm going to do I need the extra card for the discard of the frog? If I Undercity and I hit like any non-land, discard. I should be fine to fatal push this. And I think I want to. I think I want to keep the board clear of creatures. So if they hit like another grist, they can't sack. Soul Cauldron hit 100. Thought a Soul Cauldron makes sense, but okay. His BroodScale does not look like they're comboing off. Oh, did I forget to play the land? Whoops. Yes, definitely should have. Definitely should have. I think I'm going to bounce this Wall of Roots. Down the mana production a little bit. I've got to flip Tameo. I've got Spell Snare to fight over BroodScale. Should have another land in play. So surely, and I'm positive that I will get like immediately corrected on this if I'm wrong. But surely if the deck is playing like this amalgamized combination of Brood-Scale and Yawgmoth, hypothetically, they can't also be running Emrakul, right? Like, cast trigger, take your turn, Emrakul. Am I just like thinking in left field here, or that's somewhat accurate? Yeah, this one doesn't have Wall of Roots. We saw that. Is this like more Yawgmoth than Brood-Scale? I my small brain counterspell player head is under the assumption that if they've got like Wall of Roots, that probably means Agatha's Soul Cauldron, and probably not heavy on like the Brood-Scale combo parts. But like, I feel in my heart of hearts that it's got to be pretty difficult to run like Kozilek's Command with Wall of Roots. And so I'm like a little uncertain as to what I need to be concerned about. Yeah, like if they don't have Eldrazi Temple, there's no way that they're playing Kozilek's Command, right? And if they're not playing Kozilek's Command, Force Negation gets a lot worse. Consigned to memory. Well, I say that and just immediately get Force taken. And like I saw basic Forest and basic Swamp game 1. Dude, I don't even think this is Brood-Scale. I feel like I'm being led on. I've seen nothing so far that screams Brood-Scale outside of exactly stupid artifact. Benton Madsen list. A link to this alleged Benton Madsen list. All right, that looks closer. Ah. Opponent has given themselves away. Well, I know I saw the Blade of the Blood Chief, but like up until now, I have literally seen nothing else even remotely related to YawgScale. So I don't want to just be like, oh, that's an odd. Maybe there's some other combo I don't know about. I just don't want to say, oh, it has to be this because of this one card I saw when I saw no other signs. Opponent got a YawgScale. Got a Young Wolf, a YawgScale, Underground Mortuary that I know about. Baited. Go after my polluted Delta here. Do it. Do it. Young Wolf is also a combo with Agatha's Ballista and Dredger's Insight. They're running Dredger's Insight. See, again, that's like a card I haven't seen at all. Here I am with these like consigned to memories and stuff, looking like a fool. Oh yeah, I totally know what I'm doing. All right, so we are subtletying this. There's a Dredger's Insight. See that at all? Down. Okay. So we could warp the Riddler and consign it, which seems pretty good here. That mean I'm... What do they do with the Broods? They put YawgScale on top. So they've got an unknown and a YawgScale on top. If I attack both into the Grist, I could kill the Young Wolf, cling to dust it, Riddler draw 2, consign the trigger. I kind of like that. But maybe that's just like, nah, I don't care if I give up my Frog. Like, Frog's not doing anything. Damage here. Young Wolf, Undying trigger on the stack. Cling to Dust. Go Young Wolf. Riddler. Draw 2. Cameo, go to end step. Sign the Riddler trigger. Go. They got my Riddler. Okay, so for me to, or they have what's it's called off here, so I have to warp this. Those are some pretty good draws. Not gonna lie. I could consign the Saga Search. I could also just let them search and edict away the brood scale after they go to equip. Sign the search. Bruh, I need you to stop it with these grists. All right, so they sacked the spawn token. Well, I can't edict minus Tameo for edict because even if I respond to this, if they decide to shoot the Tameo, then I just lose it. I guess there's a chance they go after subtlety. You know what? What do I know? Edict away the brood scale. I think I'm gonna go like edict away the brood scale, untap, hard cast. Never mind. Edict away the brood scale, untap, hard cast Riddler, take up Tameo, draw 2 off Riddler, and then next turn either Tameo buy back something, or depending on what I draw, could just attack Grist at that point and try to ult Tameo. Odo won't let me see the cards off the top of the library. Moto, why do you do this? I don't know. That deck seems like an identity crisis. Like a less good Brood-Scale deck combined with a less good Yawgmoth deck, but it's not like creating something that's better than the sum of its parts. Yawg players realized that the worst card in the deck was Yawgmoth. Well, against us, like the best card's always been Grist. But like my argument would be they're playing a Grist deck, but they're not playing like the Court of Callings and things that make it really good and consistent to run Grist. And then they're not running, at least according to the list I got sent, they're not running stuff like Veil of Summer in the sideboard. Not running any chords or any ways to like get Grist. It's just hope I draw the things. I don't see it. Big part of their deck is Agatha's. I believe that, but like if you can't find the combo pieces for Agatha's, is it doing what you want? All right, tomato. Azrael Technicolor, thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having an awesome afternoon. Appreciate you coming around and hanging out. Four Rumble, 3 Dredges Insight to dig for it and fill the yard. I guess my thought here is like, is trying to dig for it 4 deep better than Court of Calling just getting you the card? Like you don't have to dig for it, you just get the thing. You just have it. Is that better? I'm going to let this Fatal Push resolve so I can save Force to protect Frog. It's a turn faster that way, at least from what I've heard other players. You mean like a turn faster at getting combo set up? So like a turn faster but requires more variance to go your way? Like if you told me that the Yawgmoth players decided that they have to go faster even with some additional variance to have a chance, and that was their solution, I would understand that. I would understand, like, I would rather add some variance into the equation to have a chance to keep up than not. And that would be completely reasonable in my mind, at least. It's like, I know I make suboptimal card choices all the time for the sake of trying to make my deck relevant. Got pass back. Let's go for the upkeep. Kill a crab. I did not have spell snare on the radar. Spell snare. Draw. I'm going to jump the frog here because I want this frog to hit. I want to find my third land if possible. Have some sneaky combos besides YawgScale. Guess that's what makes it appealing. I could probably agree with that. Like, I'm sure it's appealing. I don't know if it's Pro Tour Edge of Eternity's appealing, but at the same time, like, the player that ran with it obviously did extremely well. So I don't think you can argue against that. Has lines to infinite mana, infinite damage, infinite life, and infinite draw. It's like insert target green based creature combo deck here. Check out all these sweet lines to all these sweet infinite combos. Never want to auto yield against mill. Land. How to win the combo meta, play more combos. Hit for or here. Man, I wish I had a preordained to find a third land. I'm kind of not interacting with anything that doesn't say kill my frog. I don't think any other cards like matter at all here. If I get to go to my turn, I just kill them with a attacking frog with counterspell backup. Nice. Technically, they could have double fatal push, I guess, but that's something I can reasonably play around there. Fiddler, meh. Subtlety, meh. Cameo, surprisingly, meh. Cameo feels so awkward in the matchup, and you're like, oh, I could ult this Cameo and draw 4 cards. I don't think that they have like force of negation or something. Can't imagine they do. Bull trap. Surgical. Second crab. Now I will main phase Shieldred's Edict here because they showed me like that more. I was gonna say at main phase Shieldred's Edict because they showed me Spell Snare. But I'm a fan of playing the threat. Especially the threat that's really, really good into Drown in the Lock and Surgical Extraction. Opponents miss land drops. Swamp is gone. Second Watery Grave is gone. So this Marsh Flats would have no. Undercity Sewers is gone. I have no fetchables for this Marsh Flats. That is good to know. Not doing a whole lot of good to me in hand anyway. I probably should have just flown the frog. Pretty badly into a fatal push. Let's. Hey. We probably could have gotten them pretty good if I had flown the frog and then went for the long goodbye and we ninjutsu'd. Bree, what's up? I didn't even exile before the frog died. Oh man, I would say it was going good, but I'm kind of punting this game. Kind of punting this one. I should have just eaten like almost all of my yard to the frog before it died. Got to. Is it Baleful Mastery? Is the one that you can like pay the extra cost or they get to draw a card? Does that hit creatures or planeswalkers, or does it just hit creatures? Creature or planeswalker. Basically just keeping everything on top here. Triple vision. So I got, oh man, I got punished for not eating everything with the frog. We might, however, have a bit of a chance because of how awkward their mana has been. If they're sitting on like double Tashas or something and haven't been able to get double blue. Trap. Surgical. Yep. Oh, what do I have left? Surgical's counter spells gone. I have both mystical disputes. All three forces are gone. have anything. Don't believe I can do anything to stop them from casting their next spell. I have no more fetchable black sources. They milled my second watery grave and my swamp. We are at the mercy of the mills. Yeah, I think there were like 3 blue-black frog players at the Pro Tour, period. But it was like 1 blue-black, 1 Esper, and something else. A Grixis. Borrow my Kaito. Can't cast anything else. Okay. Eat with the frog, eat with the frog, eat with the frog, eat with the frog, eat with the frog. Wonder what matchup they had in mind when they decided to register Long Goodbye. It's like I ran Long Goodbye back when the Oculus mirrors were like tier 1, and it was really, really good. But if that matchup's not tier 1, a little less exciting. Crap. I think I'm just going to pass and go for Bowmaster here. Like if they spell snare Bowmaster, I get a frog down with dispute back up. If they let Bowmaster go, then I can Kaito. All right. Eat everything. Eat everything. Third land. I think I'm just going for second frog here. See what we draw. Actually, no, we're just going Kaito. Taken up and present the fastest clock possible. Respond to Fractured Sanity with fetching up untapped Watery Grave so we can hold up Mystical Dispute, not accidentally get it milled over. But a little bit of my thought there was, first off, Kaito just dodging like all the spot removal. But it could have been better to have a frog in play so that I could start exiling stuff from the yard in case of surgical. Block as fast as possible. Visions is just redraw, that's fine. Redraw. Just remember, removal spell on frog, eat everything. There any way to kill here? If I discard 3 to the frog, sit on counterspell, frog's up to a 4. Warp Riddler, draw 2, discard 2, frog's up to 6. Kaito tick up to 6 is 12. Discard preordain or discard counterspell, and that's 13. That's not lethal. We'll go back in. And I think now that I found counterspell, I am gonna 0 Kaito this turn. Don't want the extra frog. Hit for 7. Hell snare's good. 0, see what we hit. Top, take the land drop. Go. Hopefully we're big chillin'. Sanity, sure. And crab. Dispute that. I know I've got the fatal push, but like no reason to give them the crab. Plus, if they have like fetch land, then I need to fatal push. They can respond, have something like block the Kaito. I give up a bunch of cards. Sky fans, Blue Sky is currently banned in Mississippi, so I can't use my Blue Sky account if I wanted to, which is beyond stupid. But here we are. What did Foothills go? I also try to point out like talking points when I can. Wooded Foothills typically means this is not Boros, because Boros is running white fetches. Probably is Storm. That's the only like red based fetch deck that I can think of at the moment. So until I get more information, I'm assuming that this is Storm. Could be Prowess, sure. No, it's not Zoo, because Zoo always has Leyline. Literally illegal for them to have a hand that does not have Leyline Scion. See, we were all wrong. Every single one of us. They didn't care about the red side. They cared about the green side. Oh, back to Eldrazi being the right answer. Edge Maze. It's just like straight. Because like red green Eldrazi is not getting a hedge maze on turn 1. Revealed a Myco spawn. Talisman, Eldrazi Temple, Ghost Quarter, Myco spawn. Choose Eldrazi Temple. Splash blue for consigns out of the sideboard and to evoke Null Drifter. So like, I agree with the splashing blue, but this is getting Hedge Maze first. You would never get the blue before the red and green unless like you have Null Drifter in hand already. And they got a red or green blue talisman instead of like a red green. So I feel like this means they're not on Chrysalis. Two, three, four, five, six. Picked Myco spawn. Man, I was so glad that this card started seeing so much less play. Teamer list split 2-2 on Talisman of Impulse and Curiosity and get Hedge Maze instead of Commercial District, but have the Stomping Ground. It's an honestly awful mana base. It sounds honestly awful. Okay, well, now that we know we're against Eldrazi, I'm going to try our best to go like all in on this frog very, very quickly. Because we need to get the game over with sooner rather than later. I think I'm not going to flip this Tameo because I would rather have the clues to draw a couple extra cards to try to make this like a 2-turn clock. We have the Game of Thrones in the background. Okay. Null Drifter draws 2. Let's start with Fetch, Shock, draw a card. If I hit something, I would rather discard. Put Null Drifter on the bottom. On Coward. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Not death, but I guess we could potentially find like a Thought Seize. Aw. Double Emrakul. Ugin. Can't cast Ice Till. So they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And if I put Ugin in the graveyard, they have enough to cast the Emrakul. Well, that just feels bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They don't currently have enough to cast the Ugin. Well, I can counter the Ugin, but the cast trigger exiles my frog. So countering it doesn't really get me anywhere. But if my math is correct, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they'd have to have a land off the top to cast the Ugin. If I can stop them from casting it, I feel like that's got to do something for me. Ice Till, they can't cast and doesn't matter anyway. Emrakul, whether I take one or not, they're going to have one. So I think I take the Malevolent Rumble. They already have one in the yard, so it doesn't add a card type. they can't like cast it and accidentally flip over a couple card types. And I think that I have to fly the frog, hit, and discard. How many do I have to discard here? If I discard one, hit for 5, draw 2. I think I just discard everything. I don't think holding up Force of Negation like does anything for me. If they hit the land for Ugin, I die to that regardless. Because like I counter Ugin. And then what? Five, 6, 7, 8. Draw for turn is 9. Clue crack is 10. But I guess I can. Yeah. Yeah, I know they don't have Planeswalker in the graveyard. If I had Thoughtseize and taken the Ugin, they would have gotten Planeswalker in the yard, and that would allow them to cast the Emrakul. It would give them perfect mana to cast it. Now they top deck Malevolent Rumble. They've got Ice Till, Ugin, Emrakul. If I counter this, I'm not presenting lethal, right? This can't find them in a Kozilek's command. Like countering the Ugin again doesn't matter because the cast trigger exiles my frog. So they just get rid of all of my pressure, and all they have to do is find some land in the next like 3 turns, or however more than that, because they can attack at Tameo. Just one more mana source or card in the yard lets them cast Emrakul. So I just think countering the Ugin's like a losing line. What can they get off of this that I care about? I don't think there's anything. I think I just let this go. Talisman, Utopia Sprawl, yeah. Don't care about either of those. And now I have a lethal frog in the air. That was kind of my issue. Like, I just cannot afford for them to get my frog off of the battlefield. So, if they hit the land and were able to cast Emrakul or the other thing, like, I just lose to that regardless. Emrakul or Ugin. Oh, wait, no, wait. This is fine, right? I subtlety. Subtlety, Emrakul. I'd discard the force because I need the extra card to the frog anyway. And I don't want them to like draw something that they can cast in force for how they would, but so they had to put 3 card types they didn't have into the graveyard with that rumble, right? And they put Utopia Sprawl, Kozilek's Command is instant and Kindred or whatever. Oh wait, did they attack at me? They just punt. I think they just punted. Yeah, I should have eaten the sink. I didn't even notice the sink was in there. They cracking the clue. We just get a punt back. I think we just got a punt back. Or wait, no, sink is opponent controls. No, I didn't forget the sink. Second guess myself like that. It is unfortunate that they found something they can do, though. They flipped over Fatal Push. Blind flipped over Fatal Push. It's actually easy to cast Emrakul out of Rumble. Any land that adds 2 mana was enough to cast Emrakul. So yeah, just as long as they netted 1 off of the Rumble. Well, yeah, they had the second Emrakul, so Ugin's Lab would have done it. That is fair. Bond token doesn't matter because they just have second Emrakul. Oh, blind Tameo flipped the Fatal Push. Blind Undercity flipped the Fatal Push. Roll. Brutal. without push, I think it was kind of over. Well, if that Undercity had revealed something else, something that wasn't a fatal push, we could have gone to our turn, gotten back sync, hit them with the frog, and then sank the Emrakul if they went to hardcast it. Well, they could have cast Ugin at that point, so it would have been draw dependent. Need to hit like a Thought Seize. Yeah, they could activate Tameo, but like, do they activate it and just give me back a free card that I would be doing anyway? But I guess they could give me back like Spell Snare, something that doesn't matter that much. Probably right. Recording. And needs a threat, some kind of bad. Feels like a trap hand. Turn 1 Thought Seize, turn 2 Counterspell, turn 3 Tef. That's not actually getting the game over. Never mull this. Like, what is this hand doing? It's Thought Seize and then something Teferi. But like, Teferi's not getting the game over with. We'll try it for science. I don't think this hand is it. Actual T-pose on the opponent. Never see it coming. But like, the we can find a threat argument is great for Boros that's got 25 threats. We've got like 12. Riddler's not a threat because it's not sticking around unless we find it like right away. Tameo is kind of a threat a little bit. So it kind of becomes like, we need frog. We want frog ASAP. Taking Ugin. Off Ugin's lab. Frog. Frog. Well, I think like a turn 1 Tameo is reasonable pressure. Because like, at least it does get up to ultimate threat. And it's proactive, so you're at least finding more cards off of it. Also enables Kaito. Not perfect. Okay. Here's the real question. Are you going for warp consign Riddler here. If opponent found another 7-drop, they can Myco spawn next turn. We can either hard cast Teferi, Warp Consign Quantum Riddler. I think no. I feel like you want the Myco or the Riddler pressure. I guess not if your opponent's playing Sanctum of Ugin. See what we draw. Okay. I like that one quite a lot. Easy. So easy if you just draw the one thing we had to draw. How can I argue with that? And the land. Ooh, deck, you spoil me. Okay, let's think before I make any more actions. I could warp Riddler, discard. Kind of like that. But that, I guess it leaves Teferi open for a swing back, but do I really care about Teferi here? Yeah, I like that. We can deal with a K command if that's their play. I don't think I'm discarding because I like all these. Goes to Fairy. We have to win a game 3. Pass, upkeep, Kozilek's command. Pass, upkeep, K command. Or just tap out for K command right here. Ghost quarter yourself to get Ice Till online. God, they're actually doing it. Hold up. Hold up. Are they gonna get like basic island or something? Eldrazi players really think that much? Not normally. Here we are. As a spaghetti wrangler myself. Well, we're definitely saving you. This a 2-turn clock. Come on, consign. No. I think we're just passing with counterspell. Keep Thoughtseize over counterspell to prevent cast trigger. They only had 4 mana, so even if they had a soul land, they weren't getting up to enough mana to cast an Ugin or a Devourer of Destiny or something like that. Obviously, it could be Emrakul. I don't even think they have the card types for Emrakul. Yeah, so I think we're just fine. Feels like this is just a Kozilek's command. All right, game 3 for all the marbles. Oh, Patrick, thank you so much for the raid. I was caught up in that game. My bad, I didn't notice the notification. Hope you had an awesome stream. Let's get this trophy. We gotta prove to the masses that Frog is still playable. all of the metaphorical marbles. Thoughtseize, Force, Frog, blue card. Do have a frog on the draw, but one land. This. Okay. Okay, we keep these. Opponents on a mold of 5. Which means like natural Tron Devourer. Just wait. They boarded in 12 Tron lands. All right, Talisman is reasonable. If they've got a Kozilek's command. I could have gone for a Surveil last time, but it's kind of like free reign that I don't have a consign. And if they didn't go for a Kozilek's command right there and waited until my turn, I could play the land. Now I can interact with a consign, makes my Harbinger that much better. But if I had like fetched the Surveil into turn and they went for a Kozilek's command and made the colorless, then they could cast a big stupid Eldrazi before I had interaction, or have the colorless mana available after a Harbinger. Like to see if I can wait. Okay, they don't have another land. So I'm just going to pass through again. Now I can get a Surveil and interact with a Kozilek's command. 4, 5, 6. That's so much mana. Much mana. Okay. What you get. Them having the talisman on turn 1 definitely hurt. Fetch land. Get Watergrave, counterspell this. So happy if they would have just gone for like a rumble right there. One turn sooner. One single turn sooner. Well, they mulled, but like they weren't playing anything. Reasonable odds, I think, of having just a dismember. I don't think that's like some crazy have for them. I still don't have double colorless. I think I have to play the frog this turn. How much mana do they have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. And they've missed land drops. I think I'm supposed to jam the frog here. Well, they can't cast Devour because they don't have double colorless. Ugin is the only thing that they can cast at the moment that is like tremendously concerning. Pass back. Okay. It's lead on Thoughtseize. Yeah, so they can't cast Kozilek's Command at the moment. So we are attacking, getting rid of everything that is not counterspell. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Can't kill this turn, so just attack with what we got. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect draw. Jesus, stop doing this. Stop having all these stupid miracles. Please. Frog. Frog. He's the best around. Psychic Frog won't ever let him down because he's the best around. Oh, frog, frog, frog. All right, we're locking in Esper, Riddler, Frog for Houston. I'm not gonna say locking in. We still got some test days to go. But regardless, love being able. No preordained worked. All right, no preordained was better than I thought it was going to be. I still don't know if it's where I want to be long term, but it was reasonable. I'll give you that. I think if you're putting together a list that needs to find particular pieces in particular matchups, then I think Preordained's really, really useful. So like finding specifically consigned to memory. But if you're playing a build that's more like whatever I find is good, I just want more cards, then I can see no Preordained being better. Can you list the matchups? Yes. If I can remember what all we played against. I know we played against the Eldrazi matchup that last round. We played against 4-color Omnath. A Dimir FrogTide mirror. What were the other two? Yeah, the YawgScale Yawgmoth hybrid list. And Mill was the last one.